So I wanted to give you a little bit of insight into why I've done this Blu-ray of Invasion Planet Earth. As I mentioned in the pitch video above, I got a lot of abuse on IMDb, and you know, I can take it on the chin. It wasn't particularly nice, and I wasn't really expecting it. But a lot of people were saying the same thing. And when a handful of people criticize you, you go, well, okay, you know, you make a film, you put yourself out there, you've got to be prepared to take the hits. But when hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people say the same thing, that's when I suddenly went, well, maybe there is actually a problem here, and maybe it's something I need to address. And I think a lot of people don't kind of understand when you make these things, you're at the coalface, you don't tend to see it for what it is. And it's taken me a few years really to kind of to step back and go, oh, actually maybe that was an issue. So what I've done is I've created kind of a narrative throughout the story that does sort of explain it. I've done it in a very subtle way, so it doesn't give away anything of what's going to happen at the end. I've also rejigged it slightly, so the beginning section is a lot quicker, but we get a lot more information. So right from the start, we know what's going on, we understand. So by the time we get to the second act, which is where people tended to be dropping off, people are very aware of what's going on. Now, when we first cut the film, I cut some sections out. We were trying to bring it down in length. And I was perhaps a little bit brutal in some of my editing, because I cut some scenes out which in retrospect I probably shouldn't have done. So I put those back, and we've had some new special effects done for some of them. There's also a big section at the end which explained a lot about what happened at the beginning, which I've also put back in. And as I mentioned, I have jazzed up some of the special effects, especially some of the big effects from the big end sequence. And also I put the making of on there as well as the film itself. I've also put some behind the scenes sections that we did for our big crowd scenes, and there was the big scene with the tanks. So I put all the behind the scenes footage there, so anyone that was there on the day might actually see themselves, but they get a bit more of an insight of how we did it, of how we got this scale of this thing together. I've also done one on the zombie scenes and people that were there for the zombie dream sequence. Really good insight into, you know, how we did that, because when you watch it in the movie, it kind of bang 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 bang, it flies by really quickly, but when you see what went into it, you go, wow, this was a big deal. And I've also done a section on Mandy's escape, I've called it, and it's a scene where she's in the streets, she witnesses the invasion, and that was quite a big scene. It was smaller than the other two, but it was quite a bit of work went into it, and I think if you see that, you might find that of great interest. So that's a little bit about the Blu-ray. It's very high quality, I'm really pleased with it, and the £25 that we're selling it for, I'll sign each one, and every penny of that will go into making the new movie. So thank you so much.